Welcome, Star Wars fans. Here we talk about all things Star Wars with rumors, facts, news, and random shenanigans. Get ready and strap into your Millennium Falcon. This is the Force Choke Podcast.
All right, everybody, and welcome to episode 86 of the Force Choke Podcast. Today we have Micah and myself. We're going to be missing Sarah. She's not going to be able to join us today. She has work, and Tim is technology handicapped today.
Malfunction.
Yes, malfunction. So it's just going to be Micah and myself today. Just want to thank everybody for all your support, liking, subscribing, commenting on all our social media, including Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We have a Twitter and all that great stuff. Also, I did a couple more art prints. So if you guys want to get any of my artwork from the Force Choke Podcast, I did some little prints there, and you all you got to do is direct message us, and I'll send you some art prints and in the mail, absolutely free. All you got to do is contact us. So
Nice.
it's kind of cool, you know what I mean? Interacting with people. But let's get into why we're here. And the reason we're here is we're going to talk about Chapter 5 of Light of the Jedi from the High Republic. And then we're going to talk about Issue 2 of the High Republic comic book. So first things first, why don't we talk about Chapter 5 of Light of the Jedi? And let me get this going here. All right, so Chapter 5, we're still at Hetzal Prime, 80 minutes to impact. Bel Zitar, I don't know how to say that name, man. He's a Jedi, and his master always used this, him and his master always used the same vector / spacecraft, and he called their ship the Nova. That's his nickname for it. These ships have very little shielding, almost no weaponry, very little computer assistance. It says that their capabilities were defined by their pilots. So the Jedis themselves were the shielding, the weaponry, the minds that calculated what the vessel could achieve and where it could go. And I thought that was interesting, but a little strange at the same time. When you hear that, Micah, you talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like that does seem pretty weird when you hear that. It's like, I mean, I get the whole notion. It's like, okay, this is the true, I don't know, like a starfighter for the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, it's like you're not going to inherently just build an inferior craft. You know,
Yeah.
just like, oh no, only the Jedi can do this because they control it, they protect it, and it's like, I want that one over there. Yeah, that one over there with the shielding and the weapon systems. Like, can I have that one? No, you're a Jedi. You get that one.
Yeah.
Look, come
You're
on,
the weapon,
man. I want to get
There's no lasers on my ship.
some lasers to the freaking heads. Yeah, they just, I don't know. I guess they're kind of doubling down on the notion. It's like Jedi are strong.
Yeah.
They control everything.
Yeah.
Which we know that's fallacy in this story. But anyway.
Yes. So their destination was a large inhabited planetary body called Hetzal Prime. And we know about that from the last couple of chapters we were talking about. Their assignment was vague but crucial. The only thing that was on their assignment sheet was the word help. Who are they supposed to help? I guess the population.
You got to follow taxes. Tax day.
Exactly. So when they approached Hetzal Prime, they saw that there was a mass exodus of vehicles heading off-world. Sorry about that. So their ship, the Nova, was entering the upper atmosphere, and the Bell Zatir, who's an apprentice, tells his master Loden Great Storm. He tells him, "Hey, we're entering the upper atmosphere." His master says, "Are you ready?" The apprentice says, "You know, I love this part, master." And his master chuckles, right? So the master, Loden Greystorm, says, "Where should we set down?" Bell, the apprentice, said, "Did Master of our Chris tell you where to go?" Master Greystorm says, "It was left to our discretion." So that's kind of odd, right? We're going to go to a planet. Hey, go help them. Okay, well, where do we go to help? Figure it out. It's kind of like you would think they would go to a major city dwelling, or maybe a critical area of production. I don't know, you know what I mean? But to have no direction from a master from Starlight Beacon or the Jedi Temple, it kind of seems very vague. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too critical there. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, like you would just as much as you would say, like you see a mass exodus of them leaving off-world, right? So it's like you got to imagine there's some kind of assembly area. They're like, all right, everyone, you need to take off. Come this way. We have ships for you. Something to that effect. That you would imagine there's some sense of structure as far as leaving the planet before it's 80 minutes to impact.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just you would assume that there would be a little bit more detail because it's not like they're completely helpless. Like there's people on the ground trying to orchestrate this, them leaving.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I hear that, it's just kind of like, hey, you need to go there and help them out with what? Fuck if I know.
Yeah.
It's like just help them out, dude. Just you're Jedi, aren't you? You just use the Force and read their minds, figure out what they need.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't work that way.
And so the apprentice says, hey, so, well, how are we supposed to know where to go? And Master Loden Greystorm says, well, you tell me, kid. Find me somewhere to go. And Bell delved into the light side of the Force within himself. What he sensed was panic and fear. Bell opened his eyes and said, "Go to the east."
Hold on 1 second.
Go ahead.
Are you reading that verbatim?
I don't want to read it verbatim, so we don't get
copyright or something.
Yes. So it's a very close rendition of exactly what happened.
I guess the reason I'm asking is, does he say he pulls from within the light side of the Force, or does he pull within from the Force?
So that part, very close. It says Bell delved into the light within himself.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought it legit said like the light side of the Force. I'm like,
yeah.
No. Sorry. Okay. That's
all right.
Crisis averted scenario. Go ahead.
Okay.
Move along.
So he says, let's head to the east. So if there was injustice out there, they would bring justice. The Jedi were justice. Loden Greystorm banked the ship, and they flew in a circle, giving them both a clear look at the ground through the transparent steel of the Nova's cockpit bubble. So I wish I had kind of like a picture of this ship, because that means maybe the flooring is transparent. That's kind of the picture in my mind's eye that I get.
Well, I think you have on some like the helicopters and stuff.
Yeah.
Like at the nose of it, like you kind of see it looks like a bubble, so they can kind of have some kind of visual.
Yeah,
I'm guessing from what I hear, that's what it kind of sounds like to me.
Yeah, and that's kind of like why I wanted it. I kind of put that in there because I was like, am I thinking right? So yeah, I think I was thinking on that correctly.
But it's weird that you would have that for a ship that can only be commandeered by the Jedi because you can just sense people or something. I don't know.
Yeah. so,
I
so
need
they're
to
looking
see
through.
stuff. Hold on.
So they're looking through the transparent steel, is what it was called, the transparent steel of the cockpit, and they're looking at a compound. So they're still in the air. They're looking at a compound, and they see a large starship within this compound, and armed guards were posted at the walls around this compound with people trying to get into this compound, right? And the apprentice, Bell, says, why aren't they letting those people in? The ship could get plenty of them to safety. His master, Loden Greystorm, says, let's find out. They're still in the air, mind you. They whip open the top of the ship, and then they jump out. End of chapter 5. So really, it doesn't seem like much happened in this chapter. It's kind of like, okay, a Jedi are going to go check out Hetzel Prime. Then they're there. They see people living, and they're going to go check it out. So, Micah, talk to me a little bit about how you feel about chapter 5. Now, we're 5 chapters in already. So, I mean, I don't know how many chapters are in this book. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm taking it chapter by chapter.
It's like 28 or something. I don't know why that
Yeah.
number just sticks out. I can, while you're talking, I'm listening. I can check that.
Okay. But, you know, I'm
Jesus Christ. There's 3 parts and there's a total of 44 chapters.
oh, okay. So what percentage of the book are we through?
You said that
Probably,
was 5? That was
yeah.
barely a ninth?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, like 9 or 10% of the book that we're
Yeah.
into already. So about a tenth of the way of the book that we're in. How do you feel about where we're at so far, and specifically about this chapter, because we're talking about chapter 5?
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's smaller chapters that could clearly delineate like the response. I don't know if you necessarily need to do that, but I know we kind of discussed that with the last one. It's almost like the chapter 4 was an introductory to Avar Kriss to kind of validate like this is, you know, this great Jedi in command, controlling stuff and doing this and that. And then you have this one where it's just very much an introductory now to this new group coming to act as some kind of help. But it's like, what help are they going to provide if they don't know what they're doing?
Yeah.
Especially arriving in a craft that doesn't appear that it serves a purpose for the help. You know, it's like, if you're going to show up on a craft, it's like, okay, let's get a craft that can take people out maybe.
Yeah.
No. And then it's like, okay, well, no, fine. They're trying to get there as soon as possible. That was the craft that they're in. Sure, fine, whatever. You know, take them in their ship and land. But it's almost another thing where I don't know if they're trying to still find their identity in writing this. I mean, obviously it's published, so I imagine that comes at some point. But it's just kind of like, it's almost as if like you're kind of waiting. It's like, okay, where is that real hook? You know, kind of like what you had explained in our previous Force Choke podcast episode. It's like, if this was any other book and it not have been Star Wars, like, would you still feel invested, continue forward? And it's a fairly valid point, because what we've seen now, it's like, where is it at? You know, like, what am I reading this for? Like, explain to me how I'm invested in the story. Explain to me how this is Star Wars. Explain to me why I should want to continue reading something that's supposed to be the fundamental step moving forward in this new era of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's still, I guess we can still call this, you know, still early in the book, but I don't know. It's just like these little nuanced things I think they're trying to introduce. I don't know. I'm sure some people are buying it.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I don't care about these guys. I don't know. That's how I feel. It's weird. Like, and you know, I know where we started when we took this on was the whiteboard, and I'm already beyond that, past that. Now I'm actually focused on the actual story itself.
Yeah.
And gosh, I'm a science fiction fan.
Yeah.
I'm a fantasy fan, and it's like I'm still going. I can't shake it yet, Micah. I don't know why, but
I can't
if
shake
you
him.
have, I can't shake them, really, man. I can't shake the whole notion of, and Sarah brought it up. Why the hell? You got an object in space, whether it's coming at you or stationary. Why don't you just drop out of hyperspace? You have a somebody who's been in the military, like they said, for over 20, 30 years, is now flying this ship after they retired. Why didn't you just drop out of hyperspace? And
Was this
all
not
of
part of your
this,
training manual?
yeah, all of this would
Don't
have
run
been,
into the big ass wall.
yeah, it would have been avoided. Same thing as if, like, she scooted out of the way of that object, then take it out of hyperspace. Crisis avert. So it's just like, it seems like a big old crisis that never should have happened. I
Just the
don't.
que-
I
Yeah.
I
I'm sorry,
can't get over it, man. It's kind of dumb.
I just see someone making a little short movie about that. Like, how would we look at that today? You know, with what we can relate to.
Yeah.
So you're driving on a road, right? And a boulder comes down and it's just sitting there.
What are they?
I have the right of way. I'm fucking going. At the last second, okay. Oh no, it hit my car. It broke everything.
Yeah. Now the pieces are falling down the hill and they're gonna hit that house, and
It's like if
the
you're
people
playing,
at the house are looking at the boulder come and be like, "Oh wow, look, that's a boulder and a car coming at the house.
yeah,
What do I
it's
do?"
like, are you playing chicken with this thing? I don't think it's gonna move. And if the big ass boulder could talk, it's like, are they serious?
Yeah.
Win this.
Yeah. So,
I know we're having our
gosh.
fun, with that, but it just, yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of seems like almost every chapter in itself like introduces, it's introducing people that you don't quite feel invested yet. It's almost as if you don't have a reason to, and
Yeah.
then like they're all like different, I guess, individual situations for mostly for each of the chapters that we've thus far have seen that kind of seem like, yeah, it's like you're doing things counterintuitive. Like, it's like the obvious thing, move out of the way of the boulder. Like you just there's things that you give, you know, an allowance to. Like when
Yeah.
you're watching a monster movie, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that wouldn't exactly happen, but would we see a 60-foot tall gorilla run around? Probably not. You
Yeah.
know, so it's just like there's certain things, certain allowances, as I will call it, when you're watching a movie or reading a story or whatever. It's kind of like, okay, you have to buy into that notion, but the
Yeah.
rest of everything else for the story falls into place. And I'm just starting to see these things kind of like add it to the list. It's like, okay, I hope this better not get paid off in chapter 35 of 44.
And
Because
that's
if
what
you,
that's what I'm hearing is gonna happen, man.
I
Like,
yeah, how that works. Like, it's one thing to have a twist. It's one thing to have like obviously like this underlying theme, you know, that is obviously still being moved along. But it's just like all these things start to seem to add up in the story so far, where it's like, I don't know who these people are, but I guess I'm supposed to care about them. These things are happening that seems like other things could be done to situate it, but it's like, no. It's part of the plot.
yeah.
It's it's all part of the plan.
And
and
I'll
so
tell you,
I don't, yeah, like we'll still continue talking about it. You
yeah.
know, it's just, I'm, yeah, exactly. I think what you said, like I'm trying to move past, or I think I've moved past my bias, what we saw with that story time whiteboard
Yeah.
introductory notions of what this era and this story is counted on, or what they wanted it to be counted on. I'm just trying to objectively look at the story, because yes, I am
Yeah.
a Star Wars fan, and that's the reason why I started it. It's the reason
Mhm.
why I should probably finish it. But you can't just, flaunt the Star Wars name in front of me and expect me just to eat everything up. It's like
Yeah.
you still got to give a good story.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of, this is part of the Star Wars universe. We should probably know what's going on in it. I was interacting with I forgot who it was on the social medias. I think it was Instagram. And I've been cutting a little clips, and I usually do when we finish podcasts. And in case somebody doesn't want to listen to all of our podcasts, they can at least get some excerpts from it and see what we're thinking about what's going on in the Star Wars universe. One person commented that maybe it feels slow for us because we're only taking 1 or 2 chapters at a time. My retort to that was, well, comic books only come out once a month.
Yeah.
And I yawned at the first issue of the comic book. And they were like, well, okay, well, that's a good point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's the rate of speed that we're reading this novel. I think it's just the content of it.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you on that for sure. I think that comic book point is a really good point, because it's like, if I mean, you could kind of make that argument that wouldn't work for a novel, because it's not like I'm gonna buy a part of the novel and come back and buy the second part or the third part or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But with the notion, especially with the comic book that I think we're about to get into, the second issue, it's like, yeah, it's like the media that you're storytelling on.
Mm-hmm.
How long it's going to take you to put out the new issue, or whenever that's supposed to be scheduled, the time framing on that. So it's kind of like, all right, we need people to buy into the first one. We need people to love the first one, to be entertained by the first one, to be enthralled, to be like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? And if you just simply end it with, yeah, the hook. And if you just simply end it with, no, is that enough to get enough people to not just simply come back for the second one, but to have them talk to other people, be like, dude, you got to check this comic out. They're coming out with a second issue. It's pretty good so far.
But we didn't really go into the comic, because to me there was really not much there. It was just Jedi apprentice going through her trials, some bugs coming along, she made them go away. She didn't complete her trial, but she still became a Jedi Knight. Yay.
Hip, hip, hooray.
No! And then it was over.
Yeah.
That's literally what happened in the first comic. So I don't know how it is that you become a Jedi Knight in the High Republic. I guess you can fail your Jedi trials and still become a Jedi Knight. Interestingly enough,
is this the equivalent of participation trophies?
I didn't want to bring it up, Micah.
You tried.
You tried. You almost did it. Yeah.
We're gonna give you that green ribbon that represents 10th place.
That's what, to me. I mean, I didn't want to go there, but it exactly, to me, felt like you really tried. You tried. Let's get her a new robe. Let's get her title. I mean, I know she didn't make it all the way, but I mean, come on.
It kind of goes back even then to, like, say, episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, where it's like, these are supposed to be Jedi, and they're just getting relentlessly destroyed. Like who are these children in robes that are supposed to be Jedi masters just getting killed by clone troopers? Not to attack the clone troopers, but it's like clone trooper versus Jedi, 2 clone troopers versus Jedi, 3 clone troopers versus Jedi. Yeah, there's situations where they're literally surrounded. It's like, I can't defend this.
Yeah.
But it's just like they just seem like to be going down so easily. Like they're a fraud to the place that or the position they have. Mm-hmm. And then we see this now, like, maybe we needed a story to say, yeah, the Jedi, they're all about strength and, numbers, not necessarily the quality of the individual. I don't know.
They didn't have them as many midichlorians, man. It's not their fault.
But they have 3. Push them in. Let them in the door.
All right, you kind of alluded to issue 2 of the High Republic comic book, Micah. I think we're going to get into that next. So this comic book, I don't know how many arcs they're going to have, but within comic books, you usually have arcs, right? This arc is called There Is No Fear. I didn't really go very much into the last comic and give a lot of details because to me, literally, there really wasn't a lot of details. There's 4 pinpoints that I just mentioned right now, and that was issue 1. A few more things happened, and I went into a little bit more detail on comic issue number 2. There Is No Fear, chapter 2. Just to, because some people are going to say, well, y'all didn't even talk about this or y'all didn't talk about that. You know what I mean? How can you criticize it? Did you even read it? Well, I did read it. And so here we go, Micah. You tell me about
And if you don't tell me the color of the robes and the color of the lightsabers, you're not a fan.
That's right. All right. So we're starting off with newly knighted Jedi Knight Kev Trennis. She's on a mission with her master Sskeer, who is a Trandoshan.
Sskeer.
Yes, she's had his I think it's his left arm chopped off. And they're accompanied by 2 Jedi twins. I don't want to say their names. I don't even know their names. I think it's Crete and Trek, something like that.
It's like
they're pale with shaved heads. They look like, I don't know, zombies or something.
Carrot and Terror or something like that.
There you go.
I don't know. It kind of seemed like it was one of those word plays where it's like, here's a name. Let's flip these 2 letters. Aha.
Yeah. There you go. That's his kid brother's name, right? Yeah. So let's see here. Keeve, she thinks to herself, everyone's expecting great things from her. She said that that's fine. She's speaking to herself. That's fine because the forces, this is a line from the comic. She's like, that's fine because the force is with me. I'm one with the force, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Literally, that's what it says.
Complete. It's Star Wars. It's okay to copy our own material, I guess.
Yeah. You know what got me was the blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, do you not believe in the force or do you not believe in the Jedi, whole thing? Are you just being that way? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Once you get to time, it doesn't matter anymore, right?
I guess, you know what I mean? But continue. Exactly, right? So at this point, they're in hyperspace right now. They come out of hyperspace and they find a wrecked ship, debris all around, and bodies floating in space. They're
That's
like
kid friendly, but go on.
Yeah, right. So pretty much the whole crew, which is Keeve Trennis, newly the Jedi Knight, Sskeer, the Trandoshan, and the twins, they're like, dang, I guess we didn't get here in time. Keeve senses survivors on the wrecked ship, so they go and they dock with the wrecked ship. They board the ship and they investigate it, and at that point, gas begins filling the ship. Mm-hmm. They put on what is called rebreather masks, and they're like, okay, we know who's coming on, who's here. The Nihil are here. All right, Michael, you're scratching your head. Talk to me. What do you think?
Oh, I'm just scratching my head. No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, oh God. Sskeer decides to split the team up. So we got Sskeer and one of the twin, and then you got Keeve and one of the twins split up in that way.
And I forgot the wording that they used for it, but it was like they were the same line or something like that. Like,
yeah. So if it's the Corsican brothers.
Okay.
In Star Wars, that's a Cheech and Chong movie. if one gets hurt, the other one feels it. Yes.
Are they just playing off the whole twin sensation thing? Like,
Yeah.
twins know what each other are thinking.
Yeah, and feeling and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So they split up. One of the Jedi with Keeve, one of the twins. Oh, wait. Before that, when they split up, Keeve turns and tells Skier, "May the Force," well, and then she leaves with the twin.
It's, yeah. I mean, I think the first time I saw it with the blah blah blah, like I kind of let it go because but it's just this whole lackadaisical approach to it. It's like, aren't they supposed to like really like hardcore like, oh my god, yes, may the force be with you. It's
Is
almost
this
like
not supposed to be the heightened era of the Jedi? This is their prime, right?
And they're just like, I don't like. Okay, I'm just gonna say the words. I'm not even gonna say the words. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's supposed to mean something.
Yeah. So, one of the Jedi, the twins with Keeve, says Skier is in pain or is an intense trauma. At that point, Skier is having flashbacks of when he lost his arm in battle. So I'm assuming that this gas is affecting him maybe mentally. You know what I mean? Maybe he's just having flashbacks. Keeve asks if everything's okay, I guess on a communicator or something like that. Skier says yes, and more gas begins to flood around Keeve. Skier asks if Keeve has found anything, and she responds yes. At that point, they found a Hutt and his entire team slaughtered in the room that they enter. On the way to, Skier, he freaks out and he starts running with the twin towards Keeve. On the way to meet Keeve, Skier steps on some barley, and they investigate the barley that he stepped on. They actually use the word barley.
It's like, does he want to make beer?
Yeah. So when they investigate what the barley is, they get ambushed. They get ambushed by I don't know how you pronounce it. Nihil.
I saw it as Nile. Yeah, I don't.
Nihil, right?
Because it sounds like, I don't know. I have
like
a feeling that they're
Nihilus?
gonna. Yeah.
Right.
I have a feel like they're going to try to play off of that somehow.
Yeah. And so one of the Nihil attacks and ambushes, shoots one of the twins. The other twin feels it. So Skier chops that Nihil in half, and then again says no, and then just starts slicing and dicing no on that same Nihil body. All right, so let's see. Keeve makes it over to where Skier is, and she's like, okay, what happened here?
Who shot you?
Yeah, right. And so Skier's like, we need to contact Starlight Beacon to report what happened here. Avar Kriss says she must have never. Okay, so Skier reports to Avar Kriss, and Avar Kriss says, look, we must never demonize our enemies, no matter what atrocities they've committed in the past. They are living beings. So I thought that was kind of telling there. Maybe, I don't know, like I said, sometimes art imitates life, and the times that we're living in right now, this feels like a direct line from some political groups out there. Let's stop right there. I don't know. To me, that was kind of like, you've been a bad boy. I don't know. What do you think?
Just a whole. Oh shit! If that wasn't Inglourious Basterds, like, you'll be shot for this. Nah, I'll be chewed out. I've been chewed out before.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's just kind of. It's just.
That's actually perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like this whole nonchalant attitude towards it. It's just. I just don't know how. I get it, Star Wars. Like if it's a non-Star Wars person talking about this, is like, hey man, don't talk about my shit. It's like it's like your little brother. You can pick on him, but no one else can pick on him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to find ways to appreciate this,
Enjoy it,
understand
right?
what they're doing, enjoying it, understand where they're going with it. But it's like, what are you doing, guys? Like, it's just like it seems like they're trying to find a way to rewrite the core at what Star Wars is. And like, I'm not saying it just for a soundbite kind of thing. Like, but I said when we were talking about that, like that whiteboard, it's like it seems like to me, it's like you have people who don't know what Star Wars is trying to almost reconstruct their own version of Star Wars. And so when you see this, it's like, you know, May the Force, whatever kind of stuff. It's like you're taken away from what that's supposed to mean. Like, think of it as like your loved one leaving for the day. You tell them you love them because you care about them, you want them to be safe, and you hope to see them again. But you don't want to just be like, oh, you know what I mean, honey. And they go out the door. Some tragic happens, you never see them again, and then it's like, really, you couldn't say I love you to them?
Yeah.
Like,
To
try to put that kind of on par with. It might be a weird analogy, but it's like when they say Jedi say "May the Force be with you," it's not just some like I have to say this goddamn saying so you get the hell out of my face and leave me alone. It's like no, what they mean what they say, and what they're saying about "May the Force be with you," and not just this whole again nonchalant cavalier attitude about what they're supposed to be and what they represent.
Yeah. The weight of their words, right?
Exactly. I'm not just saying shit, I mean it. It's like I'm not talking shit. Well, I mean I talk shit, but I usually say what I mean and and mean what I say kind of like conversation.
All right, so we're getting closer to the end of this issue at number 2 of the comic. So turns out they're investigating this grain. It is a form of barley. I didn't know there was. So I guess they got to make beer in the Star Wars universe. And
you got any hops with you? Because this would be in Skier's voice, perfect together. Oh damn it, that's whatever. You got a cat.
So this barley is part. We find out is part of is the key ingredient to make Bacta, and of course Bacta is replacing the old stuff to heal people that's called Rejuve, Rejuv. I was like, oh god. When I read that, I actually stopped and I laughed and I was like, Rejuve. Wow. Okay. I guess they contacted Maybelline or whatever the hell just to get what foundation did I use? You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I just thought that was silly, but anyways.
They're making up new words. I didn't want to talk about it, but since we're talking about Reju, when I heard rebreather, I was like, is that the best you could do for a goddamn mask?
Yeah.
Put on your rebreather.
Yeah.
Huh? What am I rebreathing? Am I putting on a mask? Like I don't. That's nitpicking at this point. I get it, but I was just.
Yeah, but still, yeah.
Who made the decision for the vocabulary on this?
And I think that's the key to this, Micah, is that you and I think both can forgive a few things, but after a while, you're like, what the hell am I reading here? What am I ingesting?
Yeah.
There can only be so many times that happens. All right. Well, let's keep going. We're gonna end this comic book here in a second. At least this part.
It's like for good. No, issue 3. We're full retraction. Stop it. Stop it.
I think we're gonna talk about that in a little bit here, man. So that barley seems to have come from the Cedri system. Avar Chris sends Skier to that system to investigate why does this hut have this barley. They're within Republic space, so she's like, you need to check this out. And so he takes one of the twins with him to go check it out. Right. Skier and the twin land on Sidri Minor and are immediately not welcome by the inhabitants. They're like, we're in an independent system. We don't need the Jedi. We don't need anybody. You need to get out of here. While Skier is talking with, I don't know if he's a leader, wherever they land, the inhabitant, one of the twin Jedi gets lured into some brush by a Rodian. So a Rodian is like in the brush and he's like, come here. And the Jedi is kind of like,
you want some death sticks?
yeah, exactly right. And I was like, why would he go? And why wouldn't he be like, hey, Skier, this dude, he looks like he might need some help. Ask this guy what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
But no, this Jedi goes off on his own. The Rodian kind of takes off in the brush, goes after him, all right, without saying a word to Skier. They're by themselves. And so, ending that part, Avar Chris and Keeve get back. They go back to the wrecked ship that they were previously at. Avar Chris asks Keeve, man, what happened when she sees the hacked up Nile, you know what I mean, from the lightsaber. Keeve tells her everything that happened. Avar Chris then on a communicator asks Skier if the other Jedi twin is with him because the brother felt like something was going on. Skier turns around, realizes that twin is no longer with him. He goes into the brush looking for him. All he finds is the twin's lightsaber stuck in the ground. End of issue number 2 of comic book for Light of the Jedi. There is no fear. Chapter 2.
I think there is a fear. Are we getting to a good part? No.
It was hard to get through, man.
Is this just like cheap tricks trying to like falsely buy for you to buy into the story? I don't know.
I mean, what Jedi would do that, right? Oh, come here. Okay, what? Are you okay? Where did you go? I need to find you. And
I don't. Yeah, that's.
Like you and me. If we went somewhere we didn't know where we were going, and somebody's like, "Hey, come here, bro," and I'd be like, "Hey, Mike, check this dude out, man." Isn't that kind of weird?
We'll be making fun of him before we go anywhere with him.
I mean, that's what you do. That's what you do. This is not. It's not realistic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I get they're Jedi, but it's like they're not at home, and yes, they're peacekeepers, but they have targets on their back.
Yeah,
unless like they're in enemy territory, and I say enemy territory because
get the hell out of here.
Yeah, like I don't. And like I said, there's a few things you have to almost like an allowance you have to buy into. It's like, okay, you need this for the story to go on, but it's just like this story is comprised of nothing but that.
Yeah.
No. It's okay because it's gonna pay off here, or like we have to do this because this is gonna happen, and it's just like you're getting these like these. It's just like these cheap narratives inside the story for you to have this false sense of like
there's no story here.
I don't want to say it's like a false sense of like the false sense of the hook, like I need to know what's going to happen. I don't know. I just wonder who fucking wrote this stuff, like and why they I don't know. I'm at a loss of words. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, man. It's kind of I feel sad a little bit actually.
I really just want to pull out that Ian Malcolm quote because it's just like Star Wars, right? What do? You stamp it, you send it out, and you mail it, and you make them do this.
and now you want to make money on it.
It's kind of like, yeah, we're gonna create our own stories. We're gonna label it Star Wars. We're gonna put it in the Star Wars universe ish, whatever. Okay, fine. And you're gonna eat it up because you're fans. You're gonna talk about it because you're fans. You're going to like us who we're fans, or you're a terrible fan.
Yeah.
Because you don't like what we're doing with it. Just ask the writers. Oh. Hey.
Oh. Even Lando didn't like it.
Even Lando's like, this shit.
You know.
Give me a real goddamn writer in this place.
So we're gonna have to wait another month for issue number 3 of that comic.
Just to find out, like, oh, I was going to the restroom. Sorry.
Right. You know,
I mean, not to completely cut you off, but like, yes, we know where they were going in this second issue, right?
Yeah.
Does that really merit the whole no thing at the end of the first issue?
That's what I was gonna say.
It's not like you want to turn around and like, someone's shooting at me. They just killed my Padawan. No, it's like,
yeah.
Oh, we're gonna take off because there's a distress signal. And your response to that is screaming no?
Yeah.
Like it's a cheap trick to try to get you invested in getting the next one. And so that's why I make the joke. It's like, okay, I gotta buy the third issue. Like, what happened to this, Jedi just took off on his own? And it's literally like, oh, I just fell down. But then I was over here, I started to pick some berries. I needed to take a leak. But I'm back. And then something else happens. End of issue 3. Like,
yeah.
Damn it, dude.
So I'm going to give a little insight because some people might think that, well, these guys don't know how it's being set out, right? So I started us off on issue number 1 of comic book number 1, right, of the High Republic. That's really actually the third story in this series, right? We're actually going back and reading Light of the Jedi about a chapter or 2 at a time. So I think a disservice to any of your fans, and I've been in the comic book not world like a writer or an artist or anything like that. I'm saying a comic book reader ever since I was probably about 5 years old. And I've been through, at least from that time to now, part of stories that had crossovers on different kind of comics. So let's say there was a Batman story that crossed over with the Flash and Wonder Woman, Superman, and all these other characters. And it's this one huge story, right? And you have to get all these issues from all these comics to know everything. But if I wanted to just read Batman and read it straight through, I would still know what the hell is going on. Unfortunately, with this, it seems like, okay, I got to read the novel, then read the child's book, then read the comic, and then go to like I don't know, maybe like the YouTube channel and watch the YouTube clip, then go back to the next novel, then the next child's book, then the comic. You have to read it and do it in that order, otherwise you don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And I think that's a disservice to anybody who wants to ingest this content. If I wanted to just read the comic, I should just be able to read the comic and know exactly what's going on with this story. And I think that's where they messed up so far, at least for me.
Yeah. And I think we talked about this. It wasn't in regards to High Republic. I don't even remember what it was about specifically. But it's like I think it was talking about the ending of Rise of Skywalker movie. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how will they end this? Will they need more material to do it? Are they going to force you to go to another medium to finish that? Whether it be another novel, whether it be a TV show, whether it be one of the animated cartoons that they do. And yeah, it's exactly as you just said. Like you want to have all these different mediums, right?
Mhm.
To for your fans, and with respect, a lot of these different mediums often uh cater almost to different fans. Like an example, I'm not the biggest fan of animated stuff. Now sometimes there is some animated that I'll stick with because it's like, okay, this is cool. Like the story's really good, or whatever. Like something that is able to pull me in to something that I don't normally invest myself in.
Yeah.
But you can still see Star Wars for what it is, and like it's not detrimental where it's literally I have to ping pong back and forth between mediums that I wouldn't normally do just to simply get the content to understand what's going on in Star Wars. And it's interesting that you put it that way because it seems as if like you have to do that right now. Is that a money thing or is that like a lack of foresight on the writers and the leadership putting the story together? I don't
Yeah.
know. Um, but it's just like with what we've seen so far, it's like I really hope you have a trick up your sleeve, another card because it. I'm not attacking people for who like what we've seen so far.
Of course not. If they enjoy it, that's great. And I'm
Yeah,
happy for them because I wish I was there.
exactly, 100%. And not that at all, but I also just like at a point, it's like I can't. It almost seems as if like I've only seen some of us obviously, and then a few people kind of like fringe. I don't want to say fringe, but a few people talk about on YouTube. But it seems like we're a very small voice
Hmm.
that aren't necessarily shitting on it. I mean, inherently we are because of what we're talking about, but being critical of it. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, maybe I am missing something because I'm just seeing this and I'm like, how are you, that excited about it? Is it just you simply truly buying into this is Star Wars, this is where Star Wars would be, either accept it or get out kind of conversation? Or am I missing something? Am I missing part of the story? Um, because
Well,
right now it feels very much like a rudderless ship just in the sea or in the space at this point, like with no direction. It's just going to go wherever it goes, and whatever happens, happens.
so Micah, you talked a little bit about having a quote unquote sort of like an ace up your sleeve, right?
Yeah.
What I want to throw out some numbers to you. Okay, we don't really do this a lot here on our show.
Do I need
We
a
really don't.
calculator?
No. You don't need a calculator. I'll do all the calculations for you.
Okay.
So
1 + 2.
I think one of the things that they have up their sleeve is they created the High Republic show. Now, I actually watched the High Republic show. There's only one out. I think the next one comes out in March, the end of March or beginning of April, something like that. So I don't think there's going to be very many of those. Probably it seems like one every 3-4 months, something like that, maybe every 2 months.
Hmm.
But I saw it and it was fine. You know what I mean? It told you a little bit about the characters, a little bit about what's going on. Um, and it comes out on the Star Wars YouTube channel.
Hmm.
Star Wars YouTube channel has 3.53 million subscribers. 3.53 million subscribers.
Hmm.
So at the launching the trailer launching of the High Republic, there were 4.4 million views on the launching trailer for the High Republic.
Okay.
The High Republic show that aired, what was it?
Like
Maybe
a week
we're the
ago, 2 weeks
February,
ago.
yeah, we're February 5th, 2021. So about 2 weeks ago. And I went on there and they have 84,000 views for the High Republic show.
How long is it?
It is, I think,
Like,
about 28 to 34 minutes long, somewhere in there. It's not like an hour and a half where somebody's going to be like, oh, God, I'm not going to sit through this. You know what I mean?
I
My
think
wife,
I might have been one of them. I think I started. It's not like it was terrible. I think I just started. And I was just like, I don't feel like I'm getting anything from this. So I was like, I'll
yeah.
come back to it. I'll circle back to it.
Yeah. And then
And
you
I
never
never
circle
did.
back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The notes that I have on here is does this signify little to no interest, or is this something else? Because you're talking from the launch, people are excited about it. I was excited about it. I mean, like I said, I was excited about it when they were calling it what were they calling this thing? Um
Oh, damn! I know what you're talking about, like the code word that they used.
yeah,
Shit, I
G
don't remember.
it's a Yoda saying something.
Um, something creatures, some
No,
something
it was
beings. No, hold on.
Project Lumination.
There we go.
Yes,
That's where I
Project
was deriving the word from that saying
Ah,
for the project. So
yes, I was so excited. I didn't know what it was about, and then the launching came out. I saw that, and I was like, oh, okay, let's do this, right? And I think that's where you got the 4.4 million views from. And
yeah.
now that I mean, it's out. It's been out. The comic's been out. The novel's been out. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
84,000 views from 3.53 million subscribers.
Which is super interesting too if you look at it because people have a lot of time on their hands right now.
Yeah,
This whole pandemic with, a lot of people not having jobs, people having to stay home. It's like we've seen it through many other like, YouTubers that, were nothing they started off a channel during this thing and it became huge because of this. Like all kinds of mess. People have time on their hands. They're watching content. If they're actively not watching your content, especially that of Star Wars, does that speak to something else? Because
you
it's
know,
not like I don't have time to read the book right now. I don't have time to watch a 28 to 34-minute episode show, which is a breakdown and talking about, character digesting and everything. But people have time,
yeah,
especially Star Wars fans are Star Wars fans, like I don't know how to
yeah.
say it other than that. It's like, oh, I
Well, I
like
was part
this
of the,
theme or
yeah,
I
I was,
like this movie. Like some Star
mhm,
Wars fans are some of the craziest and the best. I mean
yeah.
that in a good way, crazy good, but also crazy bad. But crazy good. Like they're gonna take the time. They're gonna literally read everything that they could possibly get their hands on, watch everything they could possibly get their hands on.
Yeah,
And yeah, a 4.4 million viewership for an announcement, and then when you have the actual thing, you have was it like almost
84,
1% of that? Oh, you
84K.
said 84. I was thinking 44. Okay, 2% of that.
Yeah,
This is a problem.
yeah. And so I don't know if the, I don't know if we are the, I think we're the vocal majority, or how would you say the vote? So I think
The
we're in the
speaking in,
majority of, yes, I think we're in the majority of people who are like, what in the world is this? But we're actually saying something about it. And the people that really like it and are saying great stuff about it, I think they're actually the minority, even though that they're screaming they're the majority. If that makes sense.
yeah, it's a contradiction, but the speaking end of the silent majority.
Yes, there you
Um,
go.
because I mean, the majority of Star Wars fans that enjoy it, they're not going to be, like, yes, there'll
Not
be
even
plenty of fans.
not even 100K views on it, man.
Yeah, like
That speaks a lot, I think.
they're not going to be people that are speaking out. They're not going to be, they might, talk about it on the social media barely, but they're not going to be, out and about with doing the whole Peyton Oswald thing, fighting in that little
Yeah,
courtroom scene that they had. Like they're
yeah,
just going to be, fans, just to watch it and talk about it amongst their friends.
yeah,
And at the very least, they'll watch a goddamn YouTube video about it.
yeah,
Oh, they skipped that one. Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm. I don't
So
know.
I was hoping, and technology didn't work with us today, and Sarah had to be at work, so she wasn't able to be with us today. So Micah, I think you know where I'm what I'm feeling about the High Republic. Um, I want your honest opinion, and this can be a yes and or a no or a maybe or however you want to answer this. Try, maybe a real quick short answer, but
13
honestly,
slices
bro,
of pizza. Oh, good.
are are you vibing with the High Republic, man?
No, I wish I was.
Yeah,
I'm not giving up on it, but this is something new. This is I hate to say it, but this doesn't like really feel Star Wars. It's like they took the backdrop of Star Wars, they labeled it Star Wars, but I'm not feeling it, man.
yeah, okay. Well, I'm, not to go into it more because I think I've said a lot of my piece right now. I have to agree with you there. One of the last things we're going to talk about, which is kind of making more of a, I guess, snowball effect in a fast way, and not in a good way. So it seems like fans who are not liking the High Republic are now being referred to as the the fandom menace.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've heard that.
I've heard the
Uh,
word thrown around a couple times.
yeah, so I hope we're not being lumped in with the fandom menace because I don't think we're bashing it. I think we're giving an honest, true opinion how we're feeling about it. We're not coming out and saying, okay, how can we bash this?
hmm
You know what I mean? Some people
I'm not.
may do that.
I'm not looking for the gaping hole. It's just there when I'm walking 2 steps into the story.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, you're exactly right. The boulder that we should have gotten out of the way of, it's blaringly in our face.
But you don't understand. We needed this for the story to work. Um. Okay.
Yeah, you know what you
Wait,
could
that's
have put on
chapter one. That's chapter one.
you know what you could have put on the storyboard? A war for Star Wars.
You could just had a little bullet point. Make a better story. Instantly, it's better.
Man, I don't know, bro. Uh, and I'm gonna ask you honestly, Micah. I know the rest of the team's not here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of reword the way that I asked last podcast.
Oh, geez.
And like I said, only half of the council is here, yourself and myself. Do you want to keep going with the High Republic? I mean, we can put it to a vote. We can put it to a vote and say, you know what? Let's just scrap this. We'll wait till the Mandalorian comes out, or we'll wait for something else to come out, or maybe we can pick up a different comic book, or maybe we can even go into Star Wars Legends until something new comes out. You tell me what are your thoughts on that, man? I was hoping that Tim and Sarah were going to be here to be able to chime in, but what are your thoughts?
Yes. I am a Star Wars fan. It's new material. Um, I hope to like it. I hope it gets better, but it's something new, and it will definitely. It's something that is going to be harkening in the new era.
Mm-hmm.
However long that lasts, what that lasts, it's not so bad where I won't read it or spend time on it or kick Lando out of my chair since he's taking the spotlight. But okay, enough. Back up. As a fan, it's like I'm not gonna just simply turn my back
Mm-hmm.
just because I don't like one story or that. I mean, we're not technically finished with a novel. Maybe I think that is a poor way to do a novel, but if it does all make sense in the end, then okay, I'll wait for that
Yeah.
for sure. You know, um, but it's almost like our responsibility too to have that conversation. As fans talk about like, okay, like the vocal people are saying that this is good. Well, as a fan, I want to know the content anyway, and then I'm like, hold on, I don't see this as good. I see this, to mildly put it, as problematic.
Yeah.
So I mean, yes, in summarization, I do want to continue with it. I just, god damn it, I hope it gets better. Like,
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then we'll talk about that too. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, and I'm not to try to make this a real political conversation, but talking about the fandom menace, labeling these fans that are speaking out. And again, we're not the bunch that are just bashing it to bash it. We're the one criticizing it because we find issues with the story. But it's almost like the political atmosphere that we're seeing today is like if you speak out against someone, and I don't even talk about speak out, I'm just talking about disagreement.
Yeah.
I like strawberry ice cream better. No, I like chocolate better. You're
Well, I'm going to
wrong.
shut you down.
You're wrong. Yeah, it's like I'm not gonna. You're just not wrong. It's not only that you're wrong, but you're wrong on everything else. And now we're gonna brand you a specific way. Like I'm not trying to again make this political, but it's kind of like what you said. Like the story in itself. Like is it art imitating life, or is it life imitating art? And we're kind of starting to see that at least with respect to how the writers are treating the fans. And I'm not trying to make this a bad episode again, but it is telling in itself is I'm a fan. Why can't I have a disagreement?
Yeah.
And now being labeled as some like people trying to hijack Star Wars because I don't like the stories they're making. I'm like, I don't think the stories you're making are particularly good.
Yeah.
And you coming to speak out saying the entire fan base or at least the people disagreeing with you, not trying to rip into it, not trying to cancel you, but the people are simply disagreeing with it. And now they're like what enemies of Star Wars and Disney.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a sign of the times, but Jesus.
I'm gonna put it this way, Mike, and there's going to be, say you own a business and your customers come to you and they tell you, I really don't like this about your business. You should change it. And you get fewer and fewer customers. You probably need to decide at that point, man, maybe they're right. Maybe I should change it. We used to make, in your case, strawberry ice cream.
Yeah.
We used to make more of it. Now we make more chocolate ice cream. Everybody's asking for the strawberry ice cream. And you keep only making a pint of strawberry and 3 gallons of chocolate. After a while, customers are going to say, you know what? If you're not going to make what I want, I'll just go somewhere else. I ain't coming here no more.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Hopefully they begin listening. I think a step in the right direction to make this, like you said, not a downer episode again. But from the rumors that I'm hearing is that they've greenlit the Knights of the Old Republic Part 3. That's just a rumor, man. So don't.
I've seen them too. I'm not trying to buy too much into it, but
yeah, just take it with a grain of salt. I wanted to, I try to get us to leave on a positive note always. That's my positive note. This time is from what I'm hearing, Knights of the Old Republic will be making a triumphant return. Once again, that's a rumor. Once we gain facts on who's licensing this,
could you
who's
imagine
making it.
that though? Like if they did do that and they kind of started offshooting with their own media and it just starts destroying the numbers for the High Republic, what would that look like?
I'll tell you this much, man. If they do the Old Republic, I probably will be done with the High Republic if it's still this way. If it's the content is still the way it's going, I would, I would probably hand off the helming of the High Republic to you or to Tim or to Sarah so you guys can catch us up on it. And I would probably jump that way, dependent on who is creating it and, the story writing for that.
Well, there was most certainly be some prioritization over the High Republic, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just,
Wow.
I don't.
Mike is at a loss.
Star Wars, man. You gotta give the fans what they want.
You know, it's you can see my ball cap here. The Dallas Cowboys star. Star Wars is almost becoming the Dallas Cowboys. Can you feel it?
No, I thought you were gonna say something else. I was like, holy shit.
Oh my gosh, that's glorious. If you don't know, then you don't know.
Start this with the parental advisory needed.
But either you hate it or you love it. There's no in between. Either people bash it or they don't. But guess what? It's always in somebody's mouth. Whether it's on this side of the globe or on the other side of the globe, where the sun is set and the sun is rising, somebody's always talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and it feels like it's that way with Star Wars now. Has Star Wars become the Dallas Cowboys, Micah?
Well, I hope not, because I'm not a Cowboys fan, and I don't see myself becoming one.
Mm-hmm.
And God damn it, did you really just compare the goddamn Cowboys to Star Wars?
I did.
Son
But
of a
talk
bitch.
to me about that. In a way, who's at the helm of Star Wars? Kathleen
Well,
Kennedy, right? Who's at the helm of the Dallas Cowboys? Jerry Jones. Either you love him, most people hate him.
I still, you call me romantic if you want to. I still have faith. I still have hope. Yeah, her name might, be at the top of the food chain, but I foresee a different outcome coming. With what Favreau and Filoni has done, there's no taking that back. Pandora comes out of the box, bro. She doesn't go back in.
Speaking of that, Mike, I don't know if you've heard some of these rumors. And of course, we got to take this with a grain of salt as well. Jon Favreau came out in an interview recently. Was talking to I think it was the Screen Actors Guild, was interviewing him. And he said that The Mandalorian is going to directly connect with the sequel trilogy. If that's the case, a lot of people, especially YouTubers who are bashing Disney Star Wars, I say bashing because, well, giving their opinion and bashing at the same time. You know what I mean? Some of them are honest opinions. Some of them are just total bashing. But some of them are saying, okay, this is Jon Favreau's opportunity to retcon the whole sequel trilogy. Use the Veil of the Force, and Luke is no longer the Luke we saw. Rey and Kylo really probably never existed. And okay, let's get on with Star Wars the way it should have been. Are you buying into that, man?
I don't. That's not to say that it won't connect somehow. I mean, I guess it would kind of already have to, because with Baby Yoda, with Grogu.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know entirely what he means by that. But the whole notion of retconning and kind of that is some next level toxic stuff that I can't necessarily hang my hat on.
Yeah.
Like the petitions you see go out, like, let's redo the sequel trilogy. No, you can't do that. Sorry, buddy. We saw Abrams kind of do it with Episode 9 on certain details, where he was retconning stuff from The Last Jedi from Episode 8. So, I mean, if it were to continue on, like the story gets to that point, then there might be some kind of things that they essentially like rewrite, overwrite, whatever you want to call it as. I'm not too concerned with that. I think if anything, it kind of like validates it. Like if the Mandalorian, like everyone likes the Mandalorian. I don't know any people who doesn't like the Mandalorian, except for the writers of the High Republic.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
But everyone likes the Mandalorian. I think that's the real future to really cling to for hope. going forward. And if they say it's going to have more connection and involvement to what we've seen with the sequel trilogy, I think if anything that you should how do I say that? I just, again, I guess coming down to hope again, being hopeful that it won't essentially rewrite it, but it will maybe help it make sense.
Yeah.
Like I like sometimes if you have a certain movie and it may be a particularly long movie, but when you start cutting it down to fit into a box, like, well, this movie only needs to be an hour and a half. It's like, but bro, we have 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
You're gonna start cutting out some things that are fundamental to the story or that make sense for it later on. And yes, I know The Rise of Skywalker was an exceptionally long movie, but I just simply mean it probably could have made sense. It probably could have served a better objective if there's other things that we didn't see. And then maybe that's what Favreau plans on doing, and Filoni plans on doing. I'll see what happens when we get there, but right now I love what they've done with The Mandalorian, with Mandalorian season 1, season 2. I'm hopeful for what they have going forward. I trust them. I put my faith in them. So whatever they do, however it ends up, yeah, because they deserve that. They won that respect
They've
and faith.
earned it.
Yeah, exactly. Can't say the same for the High Republic, but at the very least, that's why I kind of think that Star Wars is not yet the Dallas Cowboys, because you still have a good running back and quarterback.
All right. One last thing, Micah, and then we're going to wrap it up and get out of here. Okay. So, one of the reasons that, of course, this is rumor again, that they're thinking that it's going to be retcon is because the sequel trilogy is because apparently there's footage not used of Luke, Han, and Leia, and it's about 12 minutes long from the sources that I've read and seen of them together in some capacity. Whether it's, I don't know if it's in a ship, how they're interacting, but how we never got that in the sequel trilogy, all of 3 of them together. There is footage of them filmed as part of the movie together. I don't know how they would use that now, but I wonder if maybe somehow they are able to use it. And how did that get out? I don't know, because
it was probably something from episode 8, because
right?
we know that Leia was supposed to have a more prominent role. She's going to have a larger role in episode 8, and she's going to have an even larger role in episode 9. But obviously with her untimely death, Carrie Fisher, that they had to readjust it to make it work with what they did have.
Yeah.
So I imagine that's what that is. Now, as far as a retconning business, I don't see how you can take 10 minutes of unaired video to trump almost 9 hours.
Yeah.
Or even if you want to look at the last 2 movies, almost 6 hours, fine, 5 hours, 2.5. I don't see how that can really give credence to a notion like that. Maybe it's something they can use in the future, that it will help in part play with Jon Favreau, because we've seen them do the CGI effect with, Mark Hamill in the ending of season 2 of The Mandalorian. So, I mean, having that versus not having that is good to have it, obviously, because if something happens in the future that it does work, then perfect. If not, then cool. But I think that is kind of a silly notion to ban episodes 7 through 9, to wash it away, to not count it, to redo it. Like, there is some there's some stuff I didn't agree with the sequel trilogy, but it's still something we had. Like, the memories having, like, waiting like finally given the opportunity, like, oh my God, Star Wars is actually coming back. Oh my God, Disney's buying it. Disney's a huge company. They have seemingly unlimited amount of money that they could spend on it. I love Kylo Ren. People can call him dramatic, this and that, blah blah blah, whatever. I don't give a shit. Like, there's still many great things that we can pull from the sequel trilogy just because we don't particularly care for one of the movies or the
Yeah.
ending of the series in itself. Doesn't mean that you get rid of the whole damn thing. It just means you make
Yeah.
a better story next time. You know, don't say sorry. Just be careful. Like, do a better story. Make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
But
That's why they did the High Republic, bro.
yeah, I don't see any movies about it yet.
I'm just kidding there, man.
That's some toxic shit, though. I remember seeing all those things. It's like, sign this petition before episode 9 comes out so they can redo episode 8.
Yeah, you're like, oh God, really?
Fuck. Who would even do that, you know?
Yeah. Funny, man.
I mean, maybe that's something where I have to sign my name for get rid of the High Republic. Okay, you got me. Sign here. No, I hope it doesn't come to that, but
Yeah.
I don't want to say that this isn't Star Wars yet, but like I said, I just don't feel like it's the same energy, the same direction,
Mhm.
and it's not having the same results either.
Yeah.
Of what this new era is versus anything that they've done in the past. So, we'll see.
Very well said. Very well said, my friend. All right. So why don't we wrap up episode 86 here? Thank everybody for watching, subscribing, listening, downloading. We love to interact with fans. It seems like since we've gotten a little bit more, I'll use your verbiage there, critical with the High Republic, Micah, it seems like we've gotten some people that agree with us. We've gotten more comments, more followers, and things of that nature. Not that we're doing it because of that, but we're giving our honest opinion, and people are speaking out either for us or against our thought process there, and we appreciate all those comments. You know what I mean? So we would like to hear what they're thinking and what they think about our ideas about it. But thank you everybody for supporting us here at the Force Choke Podcast. Once again, if you want some free stickers or for some free art, just direct message us, private message us on any of our social media platforms, and we'll get you out some cool Star Wars stuff. But for myself and Micah, Tim, and Sarah, thank you once again for listening to episode 86 of the Force Choke Podcast. The Council has spoken.